if she do it again, then I need you to do something different.
Crazy in Love, Episode 6 with Blueface and Chrisean Rock. So this episode opens up with them getting ready to go out on a date night, and the first thing she asks is, where the bottle? And of course, she throwing the bottle back along with Red Bulls, and I couldn't help but notice how dirty the bathroom mirror was and the counter. They even had the medicine cabinet open. You know, we love a good medicine cabinet, Snoop. So I was all up in a medicine cabinet, and I was wondering, where is the antibiotics? Because, you know, Blueface is a self-proclaimed dirtbag. So I know that tip has been crusted clothes a time or two. So they proceeded to get dressed. They both put on their diamonds and their eyes, you know, ready to go out on the town looking like they just big money. And they came downstairs, and I was surprised. It was no laundry on the banister. Even though Chrisean did look like she had on a bathing suit at first glance, but then I seen it was like a little sheer dress. So I gave her a pass on her outfit choice until I seen her reaching for what I thought was like her keys, her purse, her phone. But no, it was a bottle of Casamigo. And then while they walking in the club, you see Blueface with the Casamigo bottle in his hand. After we come from therapy, can we go to rehab? I'm asking for y'all liver. So they get inside the restaurant and have a seat. And y'all, Chrisean pulls the whole table up to her and Blueface like a big man. Like, girl, chill out. Soft life, baby. Soft life. I can't really blame her because he just sat back and let her do it. So before they even got water on the table, he started pouring up the Casamigos, asking her, would you like some wine? And she's like, I'm already effed up. And she was slurring her words, mind you. You cannot tell me this man does not like to keep this girl drunk. Just look at the look in his eyes when he see her drinking. It's like, yeah, baby. So Chrisean is getting ish-faced, and he's over there with the googly eyes. So once he gets her good and saucy, he start asking the questions. So he asked her, so how do you feel the meeting with my mom and my sister? And she tells him, you know, I feel like everybody is hurt, and I agree with her. Like, I do feel like everybody is hurt except him. Blueface is basically living his best life. But you can tell Chrisean is pretty much like whatever about the mom and the sister. So he tells her, well, it must have went well because you went home and you followed them. And she's like, well, that don't mean nothing. Like, I follow a lot of people. That don't mean anything. And Blue tried to sound all smart and educated, telling her, well, in this world, it means a lot. It means you want to keep up with them and know what's going on with them. I mean, somebody tell Blueface that sometimes people get followed just, you know, because some of us are nosy. So Chrisean is like, well, I'll unfollow them. And he's like, no, that's playing with people's feelings when you do stuff like that. Like, brother, it's not that deep. So she tell him how she was messing around, following everybody from his mama, his sister, his baby mama, other bees that he had slept with. And he's like, why? That's strange. She's like, well, I'm strange. And dude is like, well, I agree. So he tell her that he feel like everybody blames him because he's the man in the situation. And she basically tell him that he acts nonchalant and he needs to start showing that he cares more. And he tells her, well, I stopped caring when people don't see the wrong in what they're doing. And then he gave her this look like, yeah, the math is mathing as to why I treat you the way I do. Rich nigga take her on a cheap date. Child, I think this was the first time they had been to an expensive restaurant, because when that waiter brought out that bread, oh my God, it was like watching a geriatric toddler with no teeth eat food for the first and the last time. I didn't know if she needed dentures or baby food. I was so confused. Like, do he need to do a Heimlich on her? I literally had secondhand embarrassment for her. Then she started taking the food out her mouth, looking at it, talking about how nasty it was, and then started throwing it. And it looked like she was throwing it on the table or on the floor. I don't know. I don't think she was throwing it under the table, because I was under the table hiding. I was so embarrassed. It's like, is this girl for real? It was giving parody. So he asked her about the mom and the sister again. He's like, you know, are you cool with them? And she's like, no, F them. He's like, damn, that's harsh. And she's like, well, what about you? And this dude gonna say, well, I probably will never be cool with them again. Like, what? Who says that? But he still loved them. Ooh, child. I guess she liked that comment because she started throwing it back. She had liquor dripping all down her chin. She literally has no home training. I see why it was toothpaste all over that bathroom mirror. Then she started looking at the glass like wondering where the rest of the liquor went. He even told her like, hey, like, chill out, like, kick back, like, you're drinking too much. Which I'm like, brother, you the one feeding it to her. So then she started acting all thirsty and aggressive, pulling on him, begging for the D, asking him if he's going to screw her tonight. And he's like, yeah, like, I'm feeling you right now. And she's like, well, you don't be wanting to do it when we beefing. And he like, because I don't be horny. This girl literally has like 4 modes. She's either overly aggressive, horny, drunk, or crying. So Blueface brings up therapy to her. Now, y'all know he ain't thought of that on his own. Somebody from Zeus was feeding him that line. So he's like, maybe therapy would help you understand me more or me understand you more. Maybe it could fix me. And Chrisean tries to be all deep like, well, daddy, people like you don't need therapy. You don't need fixing. You know what you want. And he's like, well, what about people like you? And she's like, well, I'm like you. I know what I want. And he tell her like, well, you a bad communicator. And she's like, well, why waste my breath on things? Which she did have a point there because she started telling him, like, basically, you want to have your cake and eat it too. Basically, you want to be out here screwing on everybody and I just be on the sidelines not really saying anything. Like, I don't want to be your girlfriend. I don't want to be the person that make you feel bad about you not doing what you're supposed to do. I just want to be your rock. So she got all emotional, of course, and basically told him, like, she gonna stick beside him while he just be out here being a little dirtbag. But she really want him to get his shit together, and she's willing to just stick it out and stick around. She even admitted that they wasn't even in a real relationship, and he sure did not deny it. He was acting like he really didn't understand what she was saying and saying that she's a bad communicator and, they really should try therapy. So then she started eating again, and watching her eat is literally disgusting. She has no home training. So she ate a piece of food that she did not like. And of course, in true Chrisean fashion, she thought it was funny and began to spit it out. And he was like looking at her like, ugh, like, I can't believe this. He even told her that she was the worst date that he had ever been on, and she got all sad and sappy like, are you for real? Are you serious? And he like, well, no, I had worse dates, but that was the worst date. I low-key feel like that was the first date they had ever been on. She just remind me of one of those kids that walk around the house eating food, touching the walls, getting food everywhere on their clothes, on the couch. I mean, did y'all see that clip of the side of the bed? Just nasty. What Nene say? Ooh, the ghetto. So the mood started to take a turn, and you could tell that she was starting to morph into her other default personality, which is drunk, emotional Chrisean. And you could tell that Blue kind of got wind of that. After she announced she was drunk AF, he was like, okay, it's time to go. And you could just see the tears starting to well up in her eyes. Like she started getting really emotional. Like she had to catch her breath. And he's like, okay, let's go. And she's like, oh, we leaving? He's like, yeah, like we out of here. And I don't know what it is. Once this girl get a hold of that liquor, it's like her emotions just take over. Therapy is definitely much needed. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them in therapy because this girl has a lot of issues that she just can't deal with on her own, and she's not able to really see that. You can tell. So they head out the restaurant, and I hope this was a staged restaurant and nobody else was in there because I was so embarrassed. So once they head out the restaurant, I assume they go home to either fight or do the do. Y'all know how they get down. So I'll be back with part 2 to show their therapy session because, after watching just a little bit of them, I need a little bit of therapy myself. So y'all be sure to check out my other episodes. Be sure to tune back in for part 2. I will also be watching Baddies West. Chrisean is going to be on there. Tommy is going to be on there. Rolly is going to be on there. And you know, all of them are a hot mess. So y'all be sure to check that out. And I'll see y'all around. Bye.
Make a psycho, make a traffic psycho.